Hey dudes, my name's Rears, and in today's video I want to talk about this whole drones in the airport situation. I'm not necessarily a drone enthusiast, but I am a technology enthusiast. I do think drones are fun to fly, but the main reason I bought a drone was for videography. Before I start this video, I want to clarify that I do feel sorry for all the people who are affected by the Gatwick and Heathrow airport drone chaos. And I completely condemn the people who flew their drones next to airports and for people using drone technology carelessly and dangerously. I agree with all drone rules in UK. I do think they're very reasonable, and I think that every drone pilot should take full responsibility of their flight. I quickly want to talk about an article that I read on Forbes, which was written by their contributor, Mr. Sharkey. I know. And the article was titled, "Wake Up and Smell the Drone Attacks." I'm gonna talk about a few quotes from the article that I found very useful and entertaining. He's talking about the fact that Ministry of Defense has already spent 15 million on counter drone systems that are gonna be installed in the biggest airports in UK. And then let me quote this part. "What about all the other UK airports, both small and large, and other critical civilian infrastructures such as sports arenas and bridges? They are all under threat now. And what we have seen so far may well just be probing security for something much more consequential. We are all under threat now." Later he continues, "One method used by ISIS in Syria was to load small drones with explosives and set them off with no further control. These fly until their batteries run out and then they crash, triggering an explosion." And ISIS? What are you talking about? The person who flew the drone around the airport is just a complete moron, not an ISIS terrorist. And he mentions the fact that according to Mail Online, Ministry of Defense has bought 6 of these counter-drone systems that each cost £2.6 million. And if they bought 6, that's about £15.6 million. So basically these counter-drone systems work in a way that they can detect smaller drones from 2 to 6 miles away, and they can send radio frequency signals to block the communication between the drone and its operator. They do not disclose whether they would be taking control of the drone or whether it just flies and crashes on the ground, which doesn't seem that safe either. Later in his article he continues, "We just have to buy one of these for each of our airports and critical infrastructures and bingo, we're all safe." Now, I don't understand whether he's being sarcastic or he's just a moron, because there's about 300 airports in UK, not counting several hundred of football fields and concert halls. So let me get this straight. The idea is to get at least 400 of these counter drone systems that each cost 2.6 million, and that would be close to £1 billion spent on that just for all of us to be safe from that one drone incident. Yes? And who exactly is gonna pay for that? He then later continues with several reasons why you should be even more paranoid now to go to an airport, because all the drones are planning to kill you, with lines like this: "Rogue drone operators, and particularly those who intend to kill, are very smart and highly resourceful bunch." Most of the drone operators have the intent to kill, just so you know. And as far as I can see, this just seems like a poorly written piece by a blogger who's trying to intimidate dumb people. And as we all know, fear is a great way to distract and control society. So this is what Mr. Sharkey says about himself. "I've been researching in AI, robotics, machine learning, cognitive science, and related areas for 4 decades and believe that it is time for some plain speaking about the reality without the hype and bullshit." Now, don't get me wrong, I am all for safety in the airports and with safe drone piloting, but what this goofball is trying to achieve with his article is just plain nonsense. Also, I want to mention that this next part is just a theory, it's not based on facts, and it's not meant to harm anybody. I did find interesting how this whole drone chaos happened in a very convenient time, when all news outlets were very keen on writing how Theresa May was losing control of her Brexit negotiations. Clearly, if you're supposed to be the most powerful woman in the UK, it does not look good if every article is about how you're losing your grip. Wouldn't it be nice if for a couple of days the news articles about you would just disappear and something else would come in place? But that something should be driven by fear so that all eyes are on it and everyone's completely distracted away from your mess. Maybe something involving danger or even terrorism. But how to make people actually care about it? Well, let's just make actual people suffer from it. I mean, yeah, we are gonna affect thousands of people, but hey, at least we're not gonna kill them. We're just gonna make them stay in the airport for a few days. No biggie, it will give me some time to figure things out, and people will forget it in about months' time. Also, don't you think it's kind of weird that there is no drones in any photos or video footage near the airport? When asked if they may have not been a drone at all there, the police chef said, "Of course, that's a possibility. We are working with human beings saying that they have seen something." Yes, exactly. Something. My question is, though, if someone would say that they've seen alien spaceships next to airports, should we shut the airports as well? Just to make this whole thing more legit, they did arrest two people. A 47-year-old man and a 54-year-old woman were both arrested in Crawley, the nearest major city to the airport. Late Friday evening, police said on suspicion of disrupting civil aviation services to endanger or likely to endanger safety of operations or persons. There is no mentioning of them having a drone or flying a drone that day. They were both released because of lack of evidence and the investigation is still ongoing. Do you think when in a couple of weeks a new scary story comes up, people will remember to check up on this investigation, or will there actually be an investigation? I just want to add that I'm not that into politics and I don't really care what Theresa May does, but anything could be possible. I know I might sound very insensitive. I just want to remind that I have no intent to make fun of anyone who was affected by this, but how ridiculous this whole situation turned out to be. All I'm saying is that this all chaos is just a little suspicious. And since this whole situation happened, the nation's perception and views on drones has drastically changed. Last year when I would fly my drone around to make some footage, people would be really intrigued and curiously approached me to have a chat about the drone. Now after all this chaos, don't you dare go outside and just fly your drone. People will blame you for bombing airports. At least Mr. Sharkey would. Imagine all the travel photographers trying to go through airports with drones in their backpacks. Sir, could you step aside, please? Are you from ISIS? It already used to be stressful to fly through different countries with your drone in your backpack because you never knew which airports are cool with it and which airports could just confiscate your drone. And this whole situation is not gonna help any of the people traveling with drones. Which brings me to my next point. Even though some sick fuck decided to go to an airport and fly their drone around there, causing major delays and disruptions in flights and tons of inconvenience for people, the drone industry is not going anywhere. We should invite more safety measures and educate people about drone usage, but such unfortunate incidents will not stop drones from coming in our lives and in our futures. Drone market is expected to be worth $50 to $100 billion in 2020, and DJI, who owns 70% of the drone market, is doing major improvements year by year with their drone technology and their software. They're helping with public safety, with agriculture, construction, wildfires and mountain rescues. They're also helping with cinema industry and environment together, because if you wanted aerial shots 20 years ago, you would have to take a whole helicopter up in the air. Now you can just use drones to have the same quality or even better controlled shots from air, which is the main reason why why I got into drone videography in the first place. Is just amazing. With that being said, I do not or ever will defend careless drone usage, but I wanted to show that just because of few incidents, we should not write off this amazing technology that has such huge potential in our futures. But we should rather find solutions and ways to make it safe and enjoyable for everyone, because it is going to be part of our future nevertheless. Okay, thank you so much for watching this rant. It was a bit different than the usual stuff on my channel, but if you liked it, leave that like, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!